With its original OnePlus One smartphone, this then tiny Chinese company came from nowhere with the product everyone wanted and no one could get a hold of, fiercely fueling hype over it. Now it's unveiled the OnePlus 2, a high-end phone with a mid-range price, a so-called 2016 flagship killer. As before, the OnePlus 2 can be directly purchased through invitation only. We instead sourced our review sample from Geek Buying, which sells a 16GB version for £262 and 64GB for £305. With no microSD slot, we recommend choosing the 64GB model if you can afford to do so. It's one of the first Android phones to market with a reversible USB Type-C charging port, which will become more common as Google builds in support to Android Marshmallow, and the supply cable is also reversible at the Type-A end. The 2 also has a slightly higher capacity battery than the OnePlus One, but it doesn't support quick charge or wireless charging out of the box. This means it will take 2 to 3 hours to charge over a relatively hard to come by cable. The OnePlus 2 features the same Qualcomm Snapdragon 810 chip that is found in the HTC One M9, but this is a second gen chip that is said to have been optimised for OnePlus's Oxygen OS and avoids the overheating problems of its predecessor. The chip is paired with 4GB of RAM, 3GB in the 16GB model, and Adreno 430 graphics. Performance is very good, although the OnePlus 2 does tend to get warm towards the top with prolonged use. The OnePlus 2 is also a dual SIM phone, and although it's dual standby rather than dual active, we were impressed to find that both SIMs support 4G. Other connectivity options include the latest AO211AC Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 4.1 and GPS, but you won't find NFC. This has been removed from the OnePlus 2, which is odd given the fingerprint scanner and upcoming launch of Android Pay. The OnePlus 2's design is very similar to that of the OnePlus One, a fraction shorter but a little chunkier and wider. There's a new alert slider on the left side and a physical home button with a very good touch input fingerprint scanner on the front. The rear cover has the same grippy sandpaper-like texture as that of the OnePlus One, a useful feature for a large 5.5-inch phablet that could otherwise be easy to drop, and it's removable, although the battery inside isn't. This just lets you swap in a new cover. A hardware component that hasn't changed is the screen. This 5.5-inch Full HD IPS panel can't live up to the ultra-crisp Quad HD resolution of phones such as the Galaxy S6 and LG G4, but OnePlus reckons it's found the sweet spot between a decent display and one that places too much drain on the battery. Sat beside our S6, we won't pretend that you can't tell the difference. The screen on the S6 is brighter, more vibrant and even clearer, making the OnePlus 2 look almost dull by comparison. But the OnePlus's screen is very decent nonetheless, and the company is keen to point out that its 600 nits brightness compares very well to the 559 nits of the iPhone 6. Viewing angles are good too. As before, the cameras are set at 5 and 13 megapixels at the front and rear respectively, and the OnePlus 2 can shoot 4K, time-lapse and slow-mo video. We found the laser focus a bit jerky during recording, but camera performance is otherwise good for the money. RAW support will be added soon via an update. New to the OnePlus 2 is Oxygen OS, which is based on Android Lollipop. It's very much like stock Lollipop, but with some useful additions. Customizations include the ability to set preferences for the functionality of the physical home button and software recents and back buttons, a handful of gestures that will work while the screen is switched off, a dark mode, scope to alter the accent and LED colours, plus the ability to control app permissions. Oxygen OS also features the in-beta shelf, which sits a single swipe away from the home screen and displays your most frequently used apps and contacts, plus weather information. There's also an audio tuner, which lets you fine-tune the bass, treble, balance and more to preset audio profiles for music, movies and games. We award the OnePlus 2 4 out of 5 stars.